Hi everyone, welcome back for part 3 of Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, volume 5, April, bag. It's Christina. So where I was up to, I'd finished my 1 panel, 2 panels. I actually haven't finished, I've still got to do a bit of embroidery, but I wanted to get onto this next bit. I've found a few bits of material. Let me put these here so you can see that I kind of like blending in with the side. I just thought that they didn't really detract too much, and then even though they're different colours and patterns and textures, that they're not too busy to detract from the side. So let's have a little play. Now I've got these 2 and I'm going to use them sort of as my bigger base, I think. So I think I'll put them on opposite corners. I think I'd like a big strip on the side. It's easier then for the join down the side, that there's not too much happening. And I think the blue might clash a little bit, so I think I prefer this lighter colour there. That's the front of this one. Something like that. I want it to come over that side there. This is a bit of old napkin. I've used this quite a bit in some of my projects. I had a set of 8 handed down from my mum actually. They're really beautiful. I mean, maybe later I'll regret that I cut them up, but I'm okay with using them because I know where they're from. Right, so that's the front of that. And there's this bit. Maybe a bit like that, a bit like that. So I've tried to keep a bit of the pale yellows and the pale pinks and a bit of this white colour. And this was from an old little girl's shirt, which I quite like. I like that over there. Let me pull this a little bit this way, just so that they're overlapped enough to not create a gap. Now this is one of my favourite bits of beautiful, beautiful old cotton, bit stained, and it just had this little tiny weeny holes along the part of the pillowcase where you turned the bit over, and it's just so old it just rips really easily, but I just love it. So I think yes, I wouldn't mind putting that over there. All right, that's going to do just for now. I'm going to take it and stitch it down. Pin it. Get it all pinned down. And I am going to stitch it on the machine because mainly I want to zigzag these little rough edges so that there's not too much that can come unravelled while the bag's being used, because I will be using it. I want to use it. I'm deliberately making something I love so I can use it. That's what we should be doing, shouldn't we? All right, I've got it all down as much as I can. So here we are, it's going to be like this. I don't think it clashes. I think it's sedate enough to not clash. So I'm happy with it. And if I'm not in the end, I can always make another one. So I'm going to go and do this on the machine and I will bring it back. All right, so I have tied off all the loose ends and here it is. So this is what it's going to be like. So I'll have a panel. It's grown a little bit bigger than the other panel, but that's okay because it can just be trimmed. So it's going to be panel, 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 and then I'll make another one similar or same, even the same. This is frayed quite a bit, so this might be just a tad smaller than it was going to be. And that's how it'll be all the way around with another one of these on the other side. So let me go and make my other panel and come back and then begin to join these together. So I've got my two pieces as close to identical as possible. Now the next stage is to join these. Now I'm aware now that my panels have got a little bit out of whack, so I'm going to do my best with them to pin them. And like I was saying before, I'll do a straight stitch on the machine along here, but then I'll do a lot of zigzag to hold these. So I'm going to have to come in a bit just because it's frayed so much on this material, unfortunately, which means I may have trouble. The lining might be a bit too big. So I think I'll have to follow the same seam all along so that I don't end up with a inner bag being too big and the outer bag being too small. So I'm going to match up the sides on this one. Wasn't expecting this material to fray so much. What I'll do is when I've sewn down the sides, iron it out, and then I will measure it and cut the sides off the lining. So I'm matching these up, even though the top and the bottom are a bit smaller, a bit bigger on these panels and a bit smaller on this panel now. I don't know how that happened, but it just did. It's nice to see it coming together. I'm actually quite enjoying it. All right, so this one's going to have to go here. And I'm not going to join the other end just yet because I want to measure how it's looking once I've done the side seams. This one's looking a bit wonky. It's that one a bit. Okay, so how am I going to address this? This is I'm going to have to put it onto a mat. I think when I'm sewing, I might end up, let me think, like if I sew one, then maybe I need to measure and draw a line. If I want my line to be square, this is what I'll do. for the first stitch, and then I'm going to measure it as I go round so as it's sitting square, because I can always finish the top and the bottom by cutting it on you know, on the mat and making sure it's got the right angles. But if the first one's wrong, I'm going to be in all sorts of trouble. Right, I'm going to stitch this one. Okay, so I've stitched one line and I've done the zigzag stitch. Now just going to press it. I'll iron the whole lot when it's all done. But now what I think I want to do is make sure that I have the same distance. Otherwise I could end up wibbly wobbly. I don't think it'd be like this if I'd have sewn them immediately, because of course I've been stretching it and putting it on a hoop and all of that sort of stuff, and it does move them a bit. So 13 point, this is in centimeters, 13.4, 13.2, 13.4, so it's just this middle bit, so that's not too bad. Do the same, measure it from this side, 13.1, 2, 3, 4, 13.4, 13.4, so this is creating my stitch along line, which is the same distance top and bottom. Let me just pin it. And then I'll just have a quick look at inside. Mainly to just make sure that this one doesn't seem all weird. Right, so here I can see already that if this is where I'm going to stitch it, I've got my pins there, that this is kind of going off a bit that way. So I'm going to rectify that by bringing this in a little bit, because I think the priority is that the lines match up. Or, you know, the lines of the patchwork component. That's straighter, so that's better. All right, so I'm doing one panel at a time, and I will come back when I've finished this one. Okay, so here it is all joined, and I had a little bit of a heart attack in the middle thinking I'd sewn these two panels up the opposite way of the way I wanted these panels to sit. But then, no, they're okay, they're fine. I like this at the top. This is the way the pattern goes. That's the way that pattern goes. So I realise I want to finish this embroidery, iron it, and put it on. I'm actually wondering whether I might put some stabiliser behind it. So I think that might be it for this video, and I'll do all the rest of that and the lining and the drawstring on the next video. It's going to be quite a bit of sewing, so it might machine sewing, so I might not get all that on video. Anyway, so I think this is it for now. I've done my other panel, and Next video I will be working on the lining and putting the drawstring on. Okay, so here we have it. Not too bad, not too shabby. The panels are a little bit shorter in width than they were going to originally be, but it's still okay, just so long as the lining matches. So my lining should be, so it's going to be perhaps that much shorter. I don't know how that worked. Not too bad. If I've joined this down the middle and started the seams, I will then, once I've joined this, I will then measure the overall width and make it the same. So that's all right. Yes, okay, we'll do that next time. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that update, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.